everybody, this is Angela, and you're listening to Five Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is the podcast that gives you five NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. However, we are in the off season, as you know, so we're going to talk March Madness. Today, we are joined by our special guest, Henry. Hey, thanks for being with us today, Henry.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This is the best time of year, March Madness.
March Madness. Well, I might have to disagree with you. I'm still NFL all the way. So, but it is a fun time. It definitely is a fun time. Hey, El Gato, last week we both went 2-3. There was some really interesting games last week. So I'm kind of happy with the 2-3 record. What about
I
you?
agree. I agree. We escaped some close calls, but and then some of those picks obviously didn't go our way. That's the way it goes. The tournament can get crazy. I mean, we saw all the upsets that occurred, right? Tens beating fives or 12s beating fives, tens beating sixes, and it's made for some interesting basketball. But 2-3, yes, we are lucky. I'm lucky I came out with two victories on that one for sure.
Me too. I count that as a win.
Yep, yep.
All right. Hey, so the first game we're going to talk about the Houston versus Purdue game. I am picking the over in that game, and Gato is picking against the spread. Houston is favored by 7.5, and the over under is 132.5. So since we both have that game, let's just all talk about it,
Yep.
both the spread and the over under. And so for me, I'm like I said, taking the over, and I'm taking Houston to cover in this game. I think Houston should be able to control Purdue, dominating Purdue. Purdue has struggled on defense. So I see the Cougars putting up some points, or that's why I'm kind of going with the over. I think they're going to put up a lot more points than the average game that they play. Also, I think the Cougars are going to expose the defensive struggles that Purdue has. Again, Houston's going to score a lot of points above average. I think Purdue will score, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going with the over in this one, 132.5. And I am taking Houston to cover the spread, which is 7.5. What do you think about this game, Henry?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good matchup. Houston is known as an under team. Since December 1st, they've been, number one in defense, number eight in offense. They came off a really tough Gonzaga game where they controlled it most of the game. It got too close for comfort at the end. Kim Palm had Gonzaga as a rated team, and they were number eight seed in the NCAA, which seemed a little low. Purdue lost six of nine to finish the season. They've played against an 11 seed, against a 12 seed the first two games. I really think it's going to be an under game, but I think it's correlated. I think if Houston Houston covers the spread, it's going to be an under. I think if Purdue covers the spread, it's going to be an over. I think this is going to be like a 65-55 type game. Purdue's got, their issues are rebounding and turnovers, and those are the two strengths for Houston. They're really good at rebounding the ball. They're really good at turning teams over. So I think it's going to be an under and a Houston cover.
What do you think, El Gato?
I'm gonna go with you on the over. I think Houston just has too much offense. They're a very fast team. They can score inside. They can score outside, as they demonstrated against a very capable, tough Gonzaga team. I'm looking at about a 75 to 65 ball game. To both of your points, Purdue has been struggling. They do have some tall people on the inside that are some good scorers, but I think they're going to struggle scoring from the outside, but they're going to get their points. Looking at, like I said, 75-65 games should cover it at the over at 32 and a half. And I'm also, of course, going with Houston at minus 7.5. They've just got too much offense for Purdue to hold them down. Like I said, they can fast break. They can set up their offense in the half court. They have I'm talking about Houston now. They have players that can create their own shot. Very good guard play. They have like three or four solid guards. They have two starters, of course, two that can come off the bench. They have a big man in the middle for Houston. So they're going to put up some points. Purdue should struggle in this game, but you never know with March Madness. But I'm looking for Houston to really come out and put a solid victory and score some points against this Purdue team.
Yeah, Houston cannot let off the gas like they did this
No,
past
God
weekend.
dang, to Henry's point, they almost wet the bed. There with 3.5 minutes to play, they're up 14. And then Gonzaga, if I just can extend on that just a little bit, because Purdue may try to copy this same playbook in that full court or half court trap that Houston, they didn't have an answer to that, to Gonzaga's trapping a defense there with that 3 minutes to go, which made it a very, very close game. I think Kelvin Sampson will. I bet they've worked on that these last several days on that
Absolutely.
half court trap where they'll, if Purdue even tries it, I think they're really going to burn them by, doing some skip passes to the front court, to the back court. I think they'll figure that out. Purdue won't. I think they won't be successful in that trap the way Gonzaga did. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Go Cougs. Hey, my second pick is going to be Texas Tech -5.5 versus Arkansas. On this game, I think Arkansas beat a team that was overrated in St. John's. Although it was a tough game, it was a physical game that may have taken a lot of air out of the Razorbacks. And I don't think that Arkansas Razorbacks are going to duplicate the efforts that they made in the last game in this game coming up. Tech does have the seventh best offense. Tech has a fast game. This is going to be a game where the fast breaks, the fast game are going to affect the Arkansas Razorbacks, who are still a little bit sluggish as well. Tech offense and defense will show up and give Tech a cover. What are your thoughts on this game, Henry?
No, I agree with you. It sounds like Chance McMillan's going to play for Tech. Arkansas is not a good three-point shooting team. Tech has struggled the last two games shooting the three, but they've still won both games. Tech is similar to St. John's because Tech does play great defense, but Tech's a lot better, as you mentioned, on the offensive end of the ball. Um, they're number 37 in defense. They've won 16 of the last 20. Arkansas makes about five or six threes a game. Tech makes about 10 threes a game. Tech's good at shooting the free throws. I think the Cinderella run comes to an end. I'm gonna take Tech.
What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, I'm going with Tech too. It's hard not to go with that -5.5. Arkansas had some impressive wins over Kansas and St. John's, and to your point, Angela, St. John's may have been a tad overrated at the number 2 seed, but a lot of the so-called experts in March Madness, had them as a Final Four pick. I had them as a sleeper Final Four because I saw a few of their games, a few of their trailer highlights throughout the year. I said, man, this is a pretty good team. They can play some solid ball, but Arkansas took it to them, and with Pitino sitting their number one guy on the bench for the last 5 minutes of the game didn't help either. But to your point, to both of your points, Tech has a solid offense, very capable, both inside and outside. Tough defense. Tech always seems to play tough defense. Arkansas, to your point, they're going to have maybe some issues scoring the ball. But Angela, you did mention in the first podcast of March Madness that coaching matters. Calipari somehow got his team to play these last two games to reach the Sweet 16. He's going to X and O as best he can to keep it close. But in the end, I think Tech's overall depth is going to pull out this -5.5. Looking at probably at an 8-point game Tech's way.
I think a lot of juice came out of Arkansas Razorbacks in this last game, and I know they've had a few days to recover. I just, I just don't see them doing very well against Tech.
Yeah.
So, hey, Henry, you got a third pick for us?
I do. I am going to go to the BYU Alabama game. The line is BYU plus 5.5. It's an interesting game. Both teams are high octane offenses. Alabama is the more athletic team. BYU is the better shooting team. BYU has won the last 11 out of 12. BYU's got the size to compete with Bama. They don't necessarily have the athletic ability, but I think the defense plan is going to be they're going to kind of pack in the defense, play more of a zone, and make Bama make threes. Since February, BYU's been ranked the number 4 team in the nation. They've made some adjustments to their lineups. I think BYU can hang within those 5 points, just based on the fact that they have the ability to score. They shoot the ball well. They're going to pack in the defense and make Bama shoot the longer shots.
What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, Henry makes some good points. BYU is a very fundamental team. I mean, they got through their first two games, beating a tough VCU team, and they go on and beat a Big Ten team in Wisconsin. They go about 8 deep on the team. To Henry's point, they've got some good scoring off the bench. Bama, of course, one of the fastest teams still in the tournament. They score a lot of points, very athletic, both offensively and defensively. I think that's going to be the difference in the game. Can BYU keep up with the speed? Is BYU going to slow it down? Time will tell, but I think with the athleticism that Bama brings to the court, I think a -5.5 is a safe cover. So I'm going to go with Bama with their perimeter scoring, their fast break offense, and their solid defense to shut BYU down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Henry on this one, BYU plus 5.5. Alabama's having some problems on their defense. BYU needs to protect the ball. Of course, every team needs to protect the ball, but
Sure.
they
Yeah.
also, yeah, they also have to be well with getting their defensive rebounds. On an Alabama team that is good on offense, but they are struggling a little bit on defense. Cougars need to contain Sears, and I think if they do that, protect the ball, BYU covers this close game and could actually win this game.
I've seen a lot of predictions where they have BYU, excuse me, winning this outright. That would be a major upset. I
Yeah,
mean, it'd be a bracket buster for sure. What do y'all think?
I think so. I think so. But they look good. BYU looks good. So
Yeah,
go Cougars. Hey, do you have a fifth pick for us? Oh, Gato.
I do. I have one more pick, and it's a kind of a high-profile game. I think
I'm loving this
Michigan,
game.
Michigan State. I can't wait to see this game. Michigan State -3.5 versus Ole Miss. We got the legendary coach at Michigan State who always brings a good team to the tournament. They're always good on the defensive side. Good defensive rebounding, good offensive rebounding. They've got good guard play that can hit the outside shot. They have normally a couple of bigs on the inside that can not only score, right? They get you their 8, 10 points per game, but can also get those crucial defensive stops against the opposing big man in the middle. Ole Miss, of course, they've got a coach that is still rebuilding that team. He doesn't quite have the horses to compete, I think, against Michigan State. But I mean, in 2 short years, 1 short year, I mean, he's getting his team together to play. They're a little small on the inside, it appears, but they've got some good scores on the outside. It's crucial that Ole Miss score from the outside. If they can't, I think Michigan State runs away with this. That's why I'm going to go with Michigan State at -3.5, and with a little edge on the coaching side with Izzo.
Oh, yeah. What are your thoughts on this game, Henry?
No, I agree with a lot of those points. Michigan State is the deeper team. This line of 3.5 almost seems too cheap. Michigan State's good at rebounding on both ends of the court. Ole Miss struggles. They rank in the 200s on the defensive end on as far as rebounding and the 300s on the offensive end.
Interesting.
So Michigan State's going to be rebounding the ball, creating extra possessions. They're good at shooting free throws. They're going to get to the free throw line. As I got to mention, they got two great coaches. Izzo's great at in-game changes,
Yeah.
strategy. So I think that this seems to win by 4 just seems too easy. We'll take Michigan State.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised with the 3.5. It did seem a little bit low to me with Michigan State against Ole Miss. Spartans are playing some really good ball. It seemed like they started off a little bit slow in both their games over the weekend or last week.
Yeah.
In the first half, it seemed like they started out off slow, but then they got it going. And hopefully, if they keep it going, I think they're going to do really well. Rebels are allowing over 71 points a game. Spartans are not going to be sluggish in this game. And y'all mentioned coaching. Izzo, man, for sure, he's had a few days to get Michigan State ready, as well as look at film on Ole Miss. He's probably like one of the better March Madness coaches, that's out there,
I agree. I
And
agree.
so, yeah, so I think Izzo and the Spartans will take care of business and cover 3.5, which I think is a little bit low. So show them Michigan State beat them by 10.
Go Sparty. Go
Go
Sparty.
Sparty. All right. Any final thoughts, El Gato?
Man, I'm hoping we see some good games this week, and I hope not the ones we picked are so close, but the other games, maybe some buzzer beaters. It's bound to happen, right? That's why they call it March Madness. There's going to be some close games, maybe some upsets. I'm sure there's going to be one or two upsets.
Yeah.
I hope it's none of my teams that I'm going for, or what the
BYU. No.
yeah, BYU. What are they just run over Bama by 20? That will bust my bracket for sure. But I'm hoping Houston can get back together and shake off that ending with the Gonzaga game. But to Henry's point earlier, I mean Gonzaga, they may have been misseeded. They were probably a little bit better than what they posted as far as seeding. And Houston, of course, they're my team to win it all. So I need them to keep winning. Win, baby, just win.
Just win.
Just
Win in
win.
advance.
Win in advance. It's practically another two game tournament, right? To advance to the Final Four, I guess so, right?
That's
Yep,
right.
that's right. Hey, Henry, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to see what you guys thought. Who's the first number one seed to lose?
Ooh,
Auburn.
Auburn plays who? I forget.
Auburn is playing Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. So it's Duke,
Michigan.
Arizona,
Okay.
Now,
Houston,
are you
Purdue.
Henry, are you talking about Sweet 16 or the whole weekend? Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight?
Yeah,
Because
who's the first one to go down?
Auburn, Michigan State takes out Auburn. That's my
I think
prediction.
I
I
like
think
that one.
I think Maryland takes out Florida.
Damn.
Ooh.
I hope not.
You said that before the podcast started.
Yep. I hope
What's
not.
what I didn't see the entire Florida UConn game. I saw maybe the last 8 minutes, which were probably the best minutes of the game, but I I, I didn't see how UConn kept it close, other than the sheer will of the coaching of Hurley. Some good ball players UConn usually has, but what did I missed the first, obviously the first half of that game, a little bit of the second half. What did Florida not do to really pull away from that game?
Well,
Do y'all remember?
it just came down to UConn just stopped scoring. They were up the whole second half to what the last 3 minutes, and they just
Yeah.
turned off the faucet and stopped scoring, or else
Wow.
they win the game.
Yeah.
Tired.
Yeah.
Stamina.
They got exhausted.
Yeah.
And Florida, I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of Florida basketball this year, but I mean, they're a number one seed for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Angela's predicting Auburn is the first one to go.
Yep. I think so.
Yeah, I think Sparty takes them out too,
Yeah.
if they
Yeah,
both
Michigan
advance.
State looks good. I hope I'm not jinxing them, but man, they look good.
I hope they don't. I hope they just don't lay a turd against Ole Miss.
I know because we're talking about them so much. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hey, but you know what, guys? There are 161 days until NFL kickoff.
Ah,
There we go.
that
There we
sounds.
go.
That's sounding much more better as the weeks go by. Right.
I miss football. I miss football.
I mean, look at. I mean, just look at your background. I bet those are all. Are those all NFL picks back there, or football picks, or what are they?
You know what? I don't even know. I'm sure they are if I zoomed in, and I couldn't even tell you. Oh, you know what sports book this is? I believe it's Caesar's sports book. I think
Well,
so.
my
Or
background
the Mirage,
is
maybe the Mirage.
the Mariah. My background is Harris,
Yep. I recognize
and
that background.
I know what sport was going on at that picture. Of course, NFL and college football. So
Yeah. Yeah. Harris is a good little sports book to watch games at. I
I
enjoy
like it.
Harris Sportsbook,
I like how you.
especially since all the others are so crazy
Yeah,
now.
and you get us some reserve seating. That always helps.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you've made it to this point in our podcast, we just want to thank you. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also, hit the subscribe and like button on our YouTube channel at Five Picks and a Chick. You can also find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hey, Henry, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Henry.
Hey guys, thanks. Good luck with y'all's picks.
All right. Make sure to join us next week. We will be on Thursday, and we will be talking about the Final Four and then the championship game. So, of course, we won't know who's going to be in there, but we can talk about it and give our predictions of who's going to be in there and why they're going to win. As always, thank you, Del Gato, for being part of Five Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, bet.
Bet.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right, guys.